You asked for more, so here it is. More untold stories from behind the scenes at Evolve. Crazy moments, unexpected challenges, and stories I probably shouldn't be telling. Anyway, strap in, this is going to be wild. It was set about 2014. I was flying from China to see our USA distributor, and I was like, all right, I'll watch a movie here. So I started flicking through the movies, and I love seeing art house style movies, and I saw this one from Australia, and it was a skateboard documentary. And I was like, oh man, this looks cool. Clicked on it straight away, and it was called All This Mayhem. And an amazing story of the Pappas brothers. These guys are amazing skateboarders. They ended up hitting all the comps, all the vert comps, all the X Games, and they were pushing all the limits to where skateboarding was at.
They were powerhouses. They just killed all the contests.
The best in the world right now.
Inspiring, but a bit sad as well.
Turned ugly really fast.
Long story short, he got busted for drugs. Ended up importing
Ice.
Cocaine.
into Australia, got busted, went to jail. His brother died from
There was when it started to go sour.
and they documented the whole thing. Anyway, saw the movie out, and then the last 2 minutes in the movie, I saw Taz riding our pintail board, and I thought, mate, I have to reach out to this guy. Found him online, shot him a message. Do you want to come up to Evolve and be in our next feature video, which was the release of our GT series? So that's what happened. We had Taz Pappas himself fly up to the Gold Coast, and he was the main talent in our GT series video. We filmed it here in the Gold Coast. It was such a cool video. And if you haven't seen All This Mayhem video, check it out because it's an amazing story. So I'll never forget the time when we first launched Evolve and we released our very first batch of boards. Many years ago, this was about 2010. We went to market with a pintail and a snub nose board design, which is this one right here. Beautiful board. And that's the remote, by the way, it's the original remote. I'll never forget the time actually getting it to market, creating a board, doing all the marketing, creating a website, and then launching. But when it came to the time of manufacturing and getting the product to the pre-order customers, that's a whole new ballgame. We basically sold about 45 or 48 boards, I think it was, over a couple week period. What happened was we ended up getting side blow after kick in the guts, after delay, and we had to make molds, tools, we had to manufacture everything from the trucks to the bushings, the deck supplier, the batteries, the cases, the whole lot. And I was totally green to this world of manufacturing and assembly. Basically, I had customers breathing down our neck. They wanted to know, when's my board coming? When's my board coming? Which is fair enough. I was getting information from these suppliers that it was just getting later and later. So I made the executive decision to fly to China and meet these suppliers, get all these parts and bring them to a central location and assemble these boards and then air freight them to all our pre-order customers because we were so delayed. I'll never forget this because I had to assemble 45 boards all by myself in this school on the school holidays on the 3rd floor of this building. And it was like 35, 38 degrees. It was in the middle of summer. It was so hot. I had to assemble 50 of these remotes, build all the batteries into these cases, pre-drill all these decks. I had to put all the grip tape on myself, just make a batch of them of 45. I had 10 days, I got it done in 9. It was really stressful, it was really hot, but we got it done. And it was an amazing experience. I'll never forget these moments of the true grassroots of where Evolve started. The next story is a bit of an interesting one. The reason why I have this board here, because I wanted to discuss how we named our very first Stoke board the Stoke. Long story short, we had just flown over to London. We were about to do this event called the UK Open. We had half our team there, there's about 5 or 6 people. And of course, when you travel from Australia to London, there's always jet lag. I woke up at about 4 in the morning. First thing I went to, got on my phone, started looking through my emails, and then I saw this one email which said, cease and desist. And I was like, oh, what's this? It was a cease and desist letter from Globe Skateboards. And it was because we originally called the board Bantam. We thought, oh, this is a good idea. Let's call our board the Bantam. We'd already done our marketing. We'd even made our decks. Long story short, I got this cease and desist letter at 4 in the morning, and we're just about to drive to the UK Open to set up, and it was panic stations big time. I held a crisis meeting at about 4:15 in the morning. I grabbed all our main guys. We were out in the car park, in the dark, in this little huddle going, what the shit are we gonna do? We just need to come up with another name for the board. We can't fight Globe Skateboards. We wanted to respect what was coming at us. We came up with all sorts of names, all right? Pocket Rocket, Flash, Stoked. I can't remember all of them, but we ended up landing on Stoke because we just tried to describe a feeling that you get when you ride this little board. Took us about half an hour, we landed on this name, and then it was like crisis mode. How do we wind back the clock and change our manufacturing, change our marketing, change the names? And one of the big issues we had too is that we'd already laser engraved the name Bantam on all our boards. So we ended up working out a way with our manufacturing supplier to re-laser them and change the logo so it said Stoke, and then it had this bigger arrow underneath it. That's how we came up with Stoke. All right, guys, now that you've heard this story about how we called our board the Stoke, and it was previously called the Bantam, I would love to know what kind of other name ideas that you guys would have had for a board like this at the time of 4:30 in the morning after receiving a cease and desist letter. So you got to think on your feet here fast. Yeah, put it in the comments below. I'd love to hear some of your ideas. Perhaps we'll use some of these ideas for our next series of boards. We see it all through our after-sales service department. We've seen boards go through water, get straight off bridges and it dive into the rivers, get run over by cars, you name it, we've seen it all. We certainly had one customer once tell us that he'd never ridden through water ever, even knowing when we received the board, we knew you could see all the signs over the board. There was mud and all sorts of stuff. But anyway, he was basically swearing black and blue. There was no water damage. We opened the board up, had a look inside the motor controller, and then there was rice everywhere through the motor controller. And the reason why he said there was rice in there is because it's meant to help up sort of soak up moisture. You know, it's one of those urban myths. Whenever there's water anywhere, you put rice in it, and it's great for drying things up. But this was an interesting story. Swearing black and blue, there was no water interactions at all. Meanwhile, there were rice everywhere through the board. It's just another one of those days in the life of working at Evolve. Over the years at Evolve, we've done heaps of different events. We had this event called the Riders Evolve World Cup, and on the third year, we did it over in USA. And over the years, we had a lot of people asking us, oh, why don't you include other boards with these events other than just Evolve? We thought, okay, maybe that is a good idea. Why not? The reason why we didn't make it sort of an open event is because you know, each board has different power and speed, so we kind of wanted to keep the product even in terms of performance on the board, and then it came down to more about how good you are as a rider. There was always been like production boards versus sort of DIY boards. There's always been that sort of back and forth. So we decided at the USA Evolve Riders World Cup to do a wildcard event. This was an open board race. Anyone could come along, bring their board, race it on the track, and just have a bunch of fun. So how it went down was the first 2 days, we did a street race, and then we did an all-terrain race. We had some really high-powered skateboards come along and up against our GT boards, because this was back when the GTR or Hayden hadn't even been launched. Then there were these couple of boards, and the guys called Stooge, and they had these boards that were going like 50 miles an hour, 40 miles an hour, and really high powered and fast. But their board probably wasn't perfectly set up for this track because it didn't have super long straights or anything. So our product did sort of stand up against theirs in parts of the track. And it came down to the final race event. It was like Evolve versus the sort of the DIY community. Well, I have to say also, for the race event, we hadn't launched the GTR, and we did put these other motor controllers in our boards just to give them a little bit extra torque. But anyway, long story short, final race event, it was electric. The Stooge guys, there were 3 Stooge boards, or 2, I can't remember, and then there were 4 Evolves. And these Stooge guys were hard, they were racing fast, they were really good riders. But then again, so were the usual suspects from Evolve. We had Mikel, we had Samo, Tyler. Just good to see, you know, the Evolve boards with really good riders on it race against some high-powered other boards. But it really comes down to how good the rider is on the day. And we ended up winning. There you have it, guys. A bunch of cool stories there. But we've got heaps more of these. Some things we probably shouldn't say, but I'd love to. However, you guys have been asking for it, so we wanted to give you some more inside information, what happens here at Evolve. If you want to see more of these, just let us know. Drop some comments below, and that will sort of motivate us to make some other videos sort of like this. Anyway, until next time, guys, thanks for watching.